everyone, today I'm going to be giving you about half an hour of learning what the square of the pawn is. The square of the pawn. Well, during the square of the pawn, how much more squares does the pawn? Since the king can't protect it and the black king is too close. Because if you were trying to do this, and then, but then that is strange. Oh my god. Then, oh, why does that keep happening? Losing things. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And that goes away, and that becomes a queen. And then white will still win in that position. But still, there might be an easier way to do it, and a more faster way too. If we go to here, dum, 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 dum. We go back to here where it was like this. That was away, and then the pawn, we had the pawn back here, and then the king here. Well, it'll be an easier way to know where the square of the pawn. It got another 3 more squares to go to get there. If we count 3 more squares to the side, we have the king. So sadly, the king is in the square of the pawn. So that means if the king's in the square, because 3, then 3. If it's in the square, then you won't make it. Because here's a demonstration. And look, the square's gotten smaller. But look at it. It's still the same. King's in the square of the pawn. If we move forward again, circulating the square even smaller, the king can step right into it. Then you go there, making the square there. Then the king can step into it, and then it'll be a draw. So that's the square of the pawn. In that position, we knew we were going to lose. So there was only one choice to do. Do the king. The one where I showed you the king. That choice would have saved us. So, remember, always look at the square of the pawn. That would have been a draw. Literally. So always think about the square of the pawn. I'm going to put up another position now. This time, a bit more difficult position. Here, we got a rook on our side, but then they got a queen on their side. And then we got a pawn on our side here. I mean, here. First of all, I want to see black's move here. Does anyone here think that the pawn will be able to make it by looking at the square of the pawn? Tell you what. Does anyone here think that the king, which king can reach there first, is just the same? The black king's trying to. It would be like that. That there. King there. Forward. In. Forward. Queen. Turn into a queen. So that method would work. Because if you saw the king was here, pawn was here. And see here. The king is currently not in the square of the pawn. And still, it is black's move. Sorry, that's not the square of the pawn. 3 squares there. 3 squares there. 3 squares there. 3 squares. 3 squares. 3 squares. The king needs to be there, but then the king can't go into any one of those, into one of them. So that means the king has to go there. And then the pawn has to go forward, making this box even more tighter. And the way to calculate the square of the pawn is to see how many more boxes till the end of the board. 1, 2. Then you have to go here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then the king can't reach it in time. And now look at it. 1, 2, 3. Dun, dun. One of these red boxes, I'm making it. The king's next move must be in here if it's in square the pawn. Cannot make it, and instead it turns into a queen. So that's the square of the pawn. Let's give up another position. This time, a tougher one. Now let's have a look at the square of the pawn. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. So here, will white manage to make it? That's no white. Yes. So that's simple as that. Next up, I'm going to try something else now. We have a rook here, a pawn here, a king all the way down here, and a king all the way down here. Then we have another pawn, pawn here. Oh, there you go. King's all the way, king's all the way there. The rook's there. Pawns 3, 4. And then they got a rook here. Right, in this time though, it's going to be harder. Currently, right now, the square of the pawn is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Seriously? Yeah, you go. 1, 3, 4. That's the square of the pawn. The pawn is in the square. So the pawn's only got 3 more squares to go to make. That's it, right? The pawns are 2 squares up before. I only done 1 move forward, and the other's done 2. But the problem here is that, see, watch the pawns race. Which pawn? Wait, first estimate. Which pawn do you think will make it? I'll give you 1 minute. 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 minute starts now. Actually, half a minute. Time's up. Let's start the race. It's white's move here. Looks like white is currently winning. But wait, if the rook here is stopping it. The rook moved out the way, but not white clearly. But then you've guessed it. White made it first. It was even 1 square. But though, even it had a rook, it had an extra move. Black had an extra move to do. But it didn't make it out of here. So there you go. So there you go. Well, that's good. That's for me telling you. Chess lesson 6.